What's going on, everyone? So the Lakers are going to be without LeBron James for the foreseeable future. He ain't coming through the door to save the Lakers. Very likely, best case scenario, he probably comes around the Bulls game. That stretch of 2 Bulls games, one of those games he probably comes back to kind of get his feet wet and get his legs underneath him headed into the remainder of the season. Worst case is he doesn't return at all because the Lakers just cannot string enough wins together to keep us in the standings. Luckily, the Lakers, even though that they lost, so did everybody else. So the Lakers are still in 11th. They're still the exact same amount of games back from everybody. Nothing has really changed other than the Minnesota Timberwolves got a full game on them and the tiebreaker, which that hurts if we finish with the same record. But regardless, we should at least get into the play-in. The Lakers, they're currently in the 11th seed. The Utah Jazz, they have a tougher schedule the rest of the way, and they're a team that's trying to tank and get a better draft pick. So we should, at the bare minimum, squeeze into the play-in spot. But if you're the 9th or 10th seed, it's going to be rough, right? I mean, right now, the way it's shaping up, we could end up playing the Pelicans in the first round of the play-in, and then if we beat the Pelicans, have to play the Clippers or the Mavericks. Like, that's not where you want to be, right? And then immediately go into a series against Denver. Not that I don't think we can't beat Denver. I do think we can. But not if we just played 2 games and we got 0 rest going into that matchup. Like, that's not what you want to do. We had to play 2 extra games and everybody. So best case scenario is we squeeze into the 6th seed. But I think realistically, probably looking at the 7th to 8th seed. But we have a really tough stretch of games coming up. Got the Golden State Warriors, and because we're the Lakers, Steph Curry is returning because every star loves to return against the Lakers. But I do think the Lakers have a real chance still to beat the Warriors. Just got to play the right way. Got to play the right kind of basketball. And in the same breath, we did get a break. The Memphis Grizzlies seem to be falling apart, and Ja Morant is going to miss the game against us. Ja Morant's out here, flashing guns on Instagram Live and beating up 12-year-olds for their lunch money and stuff. Like, the dude's out here living his best life, multimillionaire, playing basketball, and worried about what a 12-year-old is saying about him online. Like, it's hilarious. But regardless, he's falling apart. He's on his way out, and that will be a huge boost for the Lakers. But more than anything, DAngelo Russell coming back. That is going to be very, very valuable for this Lakers team, right? The Lakers really need a guy that can come in and provide that playmaking. Be a guy that can go and kind of control the pace, run the offense, run the half court, get guys set up in their spots. He has chemistry with Beasley, with Vanderbilt, which is huge. And it's just a guy that can just go get a bucket, right? Like, that's what we need more than anything. A guy that can just go get a bucket, even if he's just giving us his average. His average this season is 17.6 points per game. If he could give us that with, 6 to 8 assists a game, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, right? That's what we're going to need from him. We're going to need probably somewhere in the ballpark of consistently, like night in and night out, 15 to 18 points with like 6 to 8 assists per game. And I really think that we can, really ride this stretch. Now, he is a guy that can go get 20 plus. He has several years where he averaged 20 plus per game. Even a year where he averaged just under 24 a game. So he is more than capable of going and giving you more. But, if we need other guys to step up to. If it's just solely on DLO and AD, we're probably not going very far, right? Beauty of DLO is he's a guy that can close games, that a guy that can just go get a bucket when we're in a tough spot. But I need to see him get other guys set up too, right? Like, yes, scoring would be nice, but can he go get you, 23 and 8? Perfect, go do that. I just think bare minimum what we need is like his average. If he can give us 17 and 6 a game, that is perfect. Which, again, I'm not asking him to do more than what he's already doing. I'm just asking him to do what he's currently doing because that is going to be hugely beneficial. Anthony Davis is going to have a guy that is feeding him the ball, that is getting him the ball, which I think is going to be huge and is going to help. But just his ability to score at all 3 levels is just so valuable. And we don't really have anyone else that can do that to a high level like D'Lo can, right? Like, we've seen Malik Beasley Obviously, he can shoot the three ball, and we've seen him, take a couple steps, get, a little floater or get like a little mid-range shot. Rui Hachimura, he can kind of pump fake, take a couple steps in, knock down the midi, like all of that stuff, right? Like that's fine. But not to the level of D'Lo, where D'Lo can, penetrate, methodically get into the lane, just draw the defense to where he can then make a play. His court vision, all of that stuff is just so valuable. And it's one of the reasons I said he's going to make the biggest impact out of all of the acquisitions. Now, granted, the idea was that we would have LeBron James, but now it's just going to be even more apparent. I really think DAngelo Russell and Anthony Davis, if Anthony Davis plays the way that we know he can play, like he did last night, if we get that level of Anthony Davis and then the D'Lo we know, I really think we're going to win a lot more games than we're going to lose. I wouldn't be surprised if we're in that 7th to 8th seed. We need him to stay healthy. We need Anthony Davis to stay healthy, but I really do, because his impact is just too valuable. His ability to just get guys good quality looks. We don't have anyone else that can make those plays, right? Like Dennis Schroeder has his moments, right? Dennis Schroeder is good, but he's best suited as a backup point guard rather than a starting level point guard. He doesn't have the vision. He's also more of a slashing, driving, kick type point guard. He's not a let's run plays, let's run half court sets. He's more predictable. Right? Like we've seen D'Lo and just the limited games that he's played, which is only 4. But in those 4 games that he's played, we've seen him just very meticulously, pick up the pace, slow it down, change speeds, change directions, right? Be able to get a guy on his back and knock down the mid-range, be able to make a nice no-look pass. Like all of those things are very valuable. Dennis Schroeder has his moments. I mean, even in the last game, he had that, give and go to AD, which was just beautiful and just perfect precision pass. But that's more here and there rather than a regular occurrence, right? But we have more than enough talent on this team to really ride this out. And look, in my opinion, if we had D'Lo in yesterday's game against the Timberwolves and we had him in the Memphis game, we win both of those games, hands down. Right? I mean, we don't even need him to score 17 because he would have changed and impacted that game on so many levels. Would have gotten so many more easy buckets. The Lakers had that one stretch where they were up 3 or whatever, but they just didn't score for 5 straight minutes. That wouldn't have happened with D'Lo. I'm not saying that they wouldn't have gone on a 2-minute stretch or something like that, but it wouldn't have been 5 because D'Lo would have generated buckets or gotten to the foul line or got a guy an easier look that would have made an easier shot, easier bucket, would have taken pressure off of AD so they couldn't just pack him in, and it changes the scope of everything. If he would have just given us 10 and 5, we would have won that game last night, right? And same thing with the Memphis game, right? And not just that, especially the Memphis game, D'Lo wasn't going to commit 10 turnovers that game. So that's the big difference as well. Have the talent. That's the difference too. But D'Lo just makes everything so much easier. Everything so much smoother. Malik Monk, he's going to get better looks because he has a guy that actually can draw the defense and actually is a threat from the outside, a threat from the mid-range, where if D'Lo beats his man or got his guy on the hip, it's going to draw that defender because they don't want to just give him an easy, layup or floater or midi, or maybe even an and one or something. And now Malik is sitting outside and Beasley's ready to line up and D'Lo's hitting him with that precision pass. He's knocking down the shot. Anthony Davis, you run that pick and roll. D'Lo is a great pick and roll point guard. He's going to be able to get him those assists. Just being able to take care of the basketball so other teams can't go run in transition, right? We were getting killed in fast break points against Memphis and the Minnesota Timberwolves. D'Lo is a guy that has a 2-for-1 assist to turnover ratio. He's a guy that's averaging just under 6 assists a game, but has just under 3 turnovers per game at 2.8. So again, guy that's giving you 6 assists and committing only 2 or 3 turnovers. 2-to-1 ratio is fantastic, right? So that is really good, and he's just again gonna make everything so much easier for everyone else. Rui his ability to operate in the mid-range, D'Lo being able to get him low post looks, all that stuff, just build the chemistry with this team. And it's nice that he has chemistry with guys already on this team. Not to mention, we've seen D'Lo and Anthony Davis have a really nice connection so far. And they've only played 4 games together, so that's something else as well. You look at D'Lo, you look at this roster, you look at what AD is capable of doing, and you got to believe that this team can get it done. Again, I think bare minimum, they at least get into the play-in. They'll at the least be a 9th or 10th seed. They probably only have to win like 8 more games the rest of the way to get into that 10th seed, not saying that I want that to happen. Again, I want at least the 7th or 8th seed, because then at least you only have to win 1 game. You got 2 chances to win 1. We probably play Dallas or the Clippers, but I do think we have a real chance. You win that 1 game. Again, you just have to be hot 1 game. I think we can get that done, get it in. LeBron would probably come back for the game, and now we're in the playoffs as the 8th seed, as the 7th seed if you win that first game, which would be nice, because then we play Memphis, which I do think we can beat Memphis in a 7-game series. I think we are a better team in general, and I think we have more experience. I think they'll have problems with Anthony Davis. They don't have anyone that could slow down and stop AD. Ja Morant isn't going to score 28 points a game in a quarter. I just think we beat that team over a 7-game series. Not just that, the defense hasn't been very good, and they just, from every metric, they just haven't been a very good team. They're just winning because they're just young and just outrun everybody, right? And then the Lakers with D'Lo, I think they're just a much better team. They're going to have that impact. But D'Lo, we need back. He's supposed to be back tomorrow. If he is back, I really believe that we get that win. I really do. I really think that this is a team that can get the job done, do what they need to do, win some games. Again, it would be nice if we could get into that 6th seed. I would absolutely love if we could get into that 6th seed. I think the 4th or 5th seed, I think, is kind of too far out of reach now. I just think the Warriors are only going to get better. They got Steph back. The Suns, they're only going to be better. And, we're 4 or 5 games out of those teams. We're 4 games out of the Warriors for the 5th seed, and we're 5 games out of 4th for the Suns now. Where if we would have won those games, we've only been 2 or 3. But regardless, I think that 4th, 5th seed is a pipe dream. 6th seed, I still think we have a shot. We're only 3 games out. Dallas hasn't looked very good. Problem is the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves finished with the same record as us, and they got basically a 2-game head start, 2.5-game head start. If we finish the same record, then they move into the 6th seed and we're the 7th seed. So I think realistically, at this point, unless we go on some crazy run and we win 10 straight games or something, I really believe that we're probably finishing in the 7th to 8th at the best, but that's not terrible. If we end up playing the T-Wolves or the Pelicans or something like that, I think the Clippers overtake the Mavs at some point. I think even if we play Dallas, I think we beat Dallas. So it's going to be a race, right? It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a dog fight, but we got to get it done. We got to get the job done. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Do you think D'Lo saves us? Do you think he doesn't? Do you think we have a shot? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below.